All right, listen, hold up. Based on today's episode, it really feels like we're finally shifting away from all the tension and drama and getting back to actually talking about the pod itself. You can tell the energy is changing, like they're all starting to lock in and get it together. Shout out to Flip for pulling up on a Friday and actually adding to the vibe. Shout out to Mona too. Yeah, I got my critiques, but I'm keeping it light because she picked her moments way better this time, and I actually liked her presence today. And I'm saying it, B. Dot was a smart addition from day one because he knows how to talk music, and whether you agree or not, his opinion carries weight from those 15 plus years in the industry. Now Parks, yeah, I'm saving him for a reason. And let's be real, Joe Budden looks like he's in a completely different space with the pod. You can see it in how he moves, way more relaxed, way more into it. It's gotten so smooth that he's not even throwing shots at his co-hosts like he usually does when he's annoyed. Instead, now people are joking about Joe again, and that right there tells you everything about the vibe in the room. Ice? Yeah, I've been on your head lately, and I'm not saying that's stopping anytime soon, but I gotta call it fair. Today showed something different, especially considering his so-called arch nemesis was there and nothing was left, no tension, no awkward moments, just clean flow. I ran the whole episode front to back, and I'm telling you, this was one of the best ones in a minute, and I've been saying that for weeks now. So now I'm sitting here like, wait, is Joe actually on to something? But Parks? Yeah, we gotta talk about Parks. I'm seeing the same thing everybody in the comments is seeing. He might be locking in Potter of the Month, and we're not even done yet. I'm low-key wondering where the voting even happens, because right now it's looking like a tight race with Mark, Ish, and everybody stepping up. Still, I got Parks taking it because that man has been cooking non-stop. Ever since he addressed that whole one-liner guy label, he's been proving he's way more than that with how much he's been contributing. So shout out to Parks. But listen, this might not be good news for everybody. Because yeah, the show is improving a lot. But if this trend keeps going, people are going to start asking who's getting cut. And honestly, I don't think anybody is. I think Joe is finally executing the vision he had when he brought Mark in. But at first, it just came in too strong and threw everything off. Nobody really got breathing room because Mark was carrying a lot of that attention early on, and Joe couldn't afford to leave gaps on the couch. And real talk, before that, I wasn't even sold on Mona and Flip sharing space. But now, their chemistry is crazy. You can even see Flip moving differently, way more respectful, giving Mona space instead of clowning her, and that's growth. That's probably why he was on this episode like that. But don't get it twisted. Just because Ice wasn't there doesn't mean he's fired. Yeah, I've joked about it too, but clearly something else is going on, maybe outside the pod, because his energy lately has been off. The frustration, the tension, snapping at jokes while also participating in them. It's been noticeable. I get why people are calling for him to be out, but Joe's not letting him go like that. We've seen this before. When Ish missed, he popped up on Patreon, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ice does the same. I'm definitely watching closely though, especially if he keeps missing episodes and stays quiet about them, because that's when it starts to mean something. I might even have to check his socials now, because last time he was talking about games like Resident Evil and Crimson Desert instead of the pod. And yeah, I get it, when you're off work, but consistency matters. Still, I can't go too hard on him for that. Now, shout out to Ish too, because his presence is rubbing off on everybody. He might not take jokes the best, but he leans into them enough to keep things flowing. And B. Dot? Yeah, I'm noticing something there too. He's leaning into that corny but confident lane and making it work. But Mona, yeah, that tension is real. When she tells him to leave the jokes to her, that's not playful, that's frustration. And I've seen that pattern before with other guests. That's something to keep an eye on, because that kind of energy can turn into a real issue fast. And trust me, people who play that corny role hear everything and eventually respond, even if it's subtle. But overall, listen, this might sound crazy, but I'm not hyped off this episode. This could be an all-timer. B. Dot being awkwardly funny, Parks in his bag, Mona having legit moments, it just all clicked. It really feels like they're in their rhythm right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe had a behind-the-scenes talk like, yo, we need to level this up, because the shift is obvious. And yeah, I love to take credit and say the audience pressure did this, but let's be real, Joe's not listening to us like that. He sees the feedback, he interacts, but he moves how he wants. We've been calling for changes for years, and things only happen when he decides. This Ice situation, this feels more internal than anything else. Like Joe hit him with that stay home if you're gonna bring that energy type move. And now, we gotta watch what happens when he comes back. because the dynamic might shift again, especially after that whole back and forth with Flip about roles and appearances. Ever since then, things haven't felt the same. That's why I'm saying nobody in that room can get too comfortable. And it's crazy, because even after all this, I still ended up pointing out issues when this was supposed to be a fully positive breakdown. That just shows how layered this pod is right now. But if they keep this momentum going, I might actually shift how I cover them and focus more on the content instead of the drama. The only problem, y'all don't always show up for the positive tasks, but do for the messy ones. I've seen it too many times. Negativity brings the views, positivity gets ignored. So yeah, I'm in a weird spot, because I like where the show is headed, but I don't want the audience dipping just because the drama slows down. Either way, if you rock with this kind of breakdown, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you really tapped in, go check me out on Patreon. We got more to talk about, especially that episode with Ray Daniels. I'll catch y'all over there. Peace.